Well, hello Darkfish Rally friends. It's the end of Rally Portugal and we have had 3 magnificent days of rallying here in the northern part of the country. This rally always delivers the highest quality competition. It always delivers drama. It always delivers excitement. And John, we had bucket loads of all of those things this week.
Yeah, very much so. After a quiet start, things really kicked off yesterday, didn't they? Really kicked off. And from then on, it's been a fantastic event.
Well, let's start then by talking about our rally winner, Sebastian Ogier. What a man. You know, a part-time driver, retired after 8 championships. He's taken his 6th win on Rally Portugal, his 2nd win in a row in this year's championship, one on tarmac. He's now won again on gravel. There is no doubting that this man still has absolute ability, experience more than anyone, knowledge, I suppose almost intelligence more than anyone. But it's that experience that he uses to win rallies these days, and he's just shown all of that this weekend.
You're right. Well, I think we're running out of adjectives, aren't we, for Seb? He has just done the perfect job this weekend. Absolute control, really intelligent drive, and he's been impeccable. Yeah, you know, others were falling off the road, making mistakes. He didn't, you know, and he didn't have it all his own way. Don't forget on Friday they had intercom issues. You could easily lose a bucket load of time with intercom issues, but they didn't because they worked professionally through that issue. Yeah, really good from his co-driver as well. And it would have been so easy to ship time there. It would have been so easy. Yeah, you know, I've been enormously impressed by him. Not just that. Obviously, you know, Friday the car wasn't to his liking. Fair enough, it wasn't really. Nobody had a car that he particularly liked on Friday. But the car wasn't to his liking. He stuck at the job he had to do. Intercom issues, stuck at it. He was just enormously impressive again. And you do wonder at what point does he say, no, I've had enough of this rallying, because he is still, I would argue, at the top of his game. I agree. I think you could very much argue the case that he is still the best all-round driver in the championship, and he keeps proving it, doesn't he? 2 wins on the bounce in a championship he's not even going for. No, it was fantastic stuff from Seb Ogier. This is what he had to tell us after the rally. Walk us through again Friday, and we watched the onboard with you and Vincent in the stage with the intercom problems. Maybe that stage and how well you cope with it is what won you the rally.
Well, at least staying calm in this moment and managing the time lost was key for sure, because I think it didn't cost us much. Luckily, it was also a stage we've done many times in the past, which means I remember most of it, but of course there was still a couple of hesitation on the very fast places where there was a big drop on the right of the road, so you definitely don't want to crash there. So yeah, I was a bit more hesitant with the pace note, obviously, but I think we lost maybe 2 seconds, no more. So it yeah, I think that's rally in general. You always have to make the best of what you have and then try to accept those frustrating moments, little issues that you can have time to time.
Do you know what? We've talked about this previously, but Vincent Londes, what a job he is doing. Part-time co-driver, clearly with Pierre-Louis Loubet. Yes, he's still a part-time co-driver, but with one of the most successful drivers in history, arguably the best driver in history. And Londes has stepped into that co-driver's seat and just seems to deliver exactly what Ogier needs. Let's move on then. 2nd place, Tänak. I was impressed by Tänak this weekend. I think we saw the emergence of the old Tänak, the Tänak maybe that we saw in 2019. The Tänak in 2019 had an aura, a presence about him. He intimidated not just us journalists, he intimidated other drivers. And he was almost unbeatable. You know, he went into every stage knowing he was probably the favourite, every rally knowing he was certainly the favourite, and he could do things with the car in 2019 that other people couldn't. That's 5 years ago, and we haven't seen much of that kind of Tänak. Am I being a little bit hopeful in thinking that maybe we're beginning to see that again?
Maybe. I think it's a little bit early, perhaps. I think it's been a good performance, hasn't it? He has driven really well this weekend, and he's driven around. Not issues with the car, but he's not happy with that car still, not happy with the setup or the design of that car somehow. But he's performed, he's driven around the issues. He looks good, he looks calm somehow.
That's a good point. He has been calmer this weekend. He's been calmer with us. He's been calmer with lots of people around the service park as well. And maybe that's part of the way that he's decided to change things around. There are some things you can never change. You know, the engineering side of it, when you've got homologation issues, very difficult to change. Then you've got to be looking at other things, you know, your preparation, your fitness, your co-driver, you know, the tangibles that you can affect. And the mental approach clearly is one of those tangibles that you can affect.
It is, and I think well, I said we spoke to him, I think it was on Saturday or Friday maybe. He just said, there's nothing I can do, I just have to go for it. It's competition, the car is what it is. And he's done that, he's had a really, really good weekend. Second place is amazing, won the points today, so brilliant.
Yeah, and it really does very much keep him in that battle for the championship. Let's hear from Tänak.
It's definitely a shame, you know. So yeah, otherwise it was a good fight with Seb, and yeah, Friday we struggled a bit, but Saturday, Sunday we were actually quite on the pace, so we were able, especially the second loop, we were carried some speed. So it's the way it is. In the end, we still scored the points. So yeah, the Sardinia I enjoy quite a bit as well. So hopefully we can do there as well.
Do you know what? This could have been an incredibly difficult rally for Thierry Neuville. First on the road on Friday, we all expected him to ship time and really struggle this weekend. But John, he didn't struggle. He stuck in there. He's finished in third place. He's picked up, I think it was the fastest time through the power stage, second quickest through Sunday. It's been a good weekend for him, extending his lead in the championship. Yeah,
it really has. I think if I was going to use a word to describe Neuville this weekend, it would be tenacious. You know, he didn't give up. That for me is a champion's drive, that. There's a commitment there, isn't there? There's a commitment there.
A champion's drive. Yeah, I'd agree. He's looking the strongest of our three main challengers. No question about that. Tänak looked good out there this weekend. Unfortunately, Elfyn Evans, let's talk about him. He had a terrible, terrible weekend out there. Couldn't get to grips with the car, problems with pace notes, an issue with the car today on Sunday as well. It just all went wrong for him.
It did. It has been a bad weekend for Elfyn. I don't even know where to start in a way. You know, he's not been comfortable all weekend. He made a little bit of improvement in the car, he said, but the times just haven't been there. And then obviously today, issue with the car, overheating engine, stopped on the stage, came out on the batteries. He's managed to get going again, but a disaster.
Do you know what? It did look at one point as if Elfyn Evans would score 0 points this weekend, but he worked incredibly hard before they went into the final regroup, before the final stage, to repair that car, and he has come out with a few points. Yes, he's dropped a little bit further down in the standings, but earlier on we did catch up with our championship leader. It is Thierry Neuville.
Very pleased, obviously. We didn't expect to make another step forward in the championship lead. Coming here, we expected obviously very tough conditions on Friday, and generally a very, very tough and challenging weekend, which at the end it was somehow, but the Friday we had a very good run through. Conditions weren't as bad as expected either, so we're able of making a good day, having a better road position. Yesterday was a bit more of a struggle, and today I felt super good in the car and was able to push when it was needed.
Great to see Dani Sordo back this weekend. Showed some good pace out there, that is for sure. Kept himself nice and close and tight in that fight with Thierry Neuville. He was never going to pass him, John, though. He knew his job, and that was not to get ahead of Neuville.
Yeah, that was it. He had a job to do, didn't he? Get to the end, score decent points, but don't get in the way of the championship contenders.
Well, what about our M Sport Ford drivers? Well, another really strong performance from Adrian Formeau. He looked really good out there this weekend, set some cracking times, some competitive times. Most importantly, once again, remarkable consistency in the stages from Formeau. But John, what do we say about young Gregoire Munster? Small mistake, cost a mistake. Yet again, he ain't finished.
Yeah, it was minor in a way, but big consequences. He can't keep doing that though, can he? He's got to find a way to see what his teammate is doing, find some consistency and just get to the end and keep building. He has to start building some momentum.
Look, he knows, there's no point in saying it again, because he knows it's an incredible opportunity he's got this year. And the only way to make the most of the opportunity is to stay on the road. You know, you do not learn anything watching other cars going past you as you sit in a ditch. I don't know, we talked about the issues for Tänak and how you have to change things around. Are we going to see some sort of change with Gregoire Munster? I don't know, but he needs to look very closely at what he's doing and potentially make some changes. Now, one or two boys had a bit of a shocker out there this weekend. Kalle Rovanperä, pre-event favourite for so many people. Really struggled on Friday, looked sensational on the first stage on Saturday, looked like a chump on the second stage on Saturday. So on Rovanperä, like we saw in Sweden, mistake, very, very costly. A mistake here, even more costly. The pace was there. What wasn't there, John? What was missing?
Well, the result is what's missing, isn't it? It's really strange, isn't it? For someone who has shown such maturity and such a great ability to close out rallies, which for someone so young has been really impressive. This year, it's just not quite coming together, is it? As you said, he had the pace, but it just went a bit wrong.
It did. It did. He will bounce back, no question about that. Rovanperä is the most supremely talented driver we have probably ever seen in the World Rally Championship. He will bounce back, no question about that. What about Takamoto Katsuta? We talked to Jari-Matti last night, and he said it's about steps and building blocks. He talked a lot about that when he finds himself in a position to battle for the win. Maybe the pressure gets to him, it gets too much, he makes mistakes. We've said it many times. He showed the pace on the Friday, on Saturday. He showed that he can't cope with that pressure. The team have to look at that. I'm sure they do. They have to look at it and try and give him something to help him deal with those situations. I have no idea what that might be.
No, as Jari-Matti said, he needs to learn to keep going and not be under pressure. And this weekend, he shouldn't have been under any pressure. There was no point scoring to worry about. This was all about him and just his rally, his result. And it's a shame. When I spoke to him after the accident, he said that he was feeling much more comfortable with the car. He was feeling good. Just a small mistake. He held his hands up. And I guess you're going to make mistakes on your way to the top. I think overall he's shown a good step forward over the last few months. And he's had some good Sunday performances. So things are going in the right direction. So hopefully this is just a bump in the road.
Yeah, I agree. As long as he keeps coming back and showing that, that pace is there, scoring those podiums and potentially putting himself into positions where he can challenge for wins, then, all moving the right way for Katsuta-san. So, that was our Rally 1 battle this weekend. It was sensational. We did enjoy it an awful lot. What about our WRC 2? Well, enormous congratulations to Jan Solans. He took an incredible victory here. It was a wonderful final stage battle with Josh McAlean. It was absolute carnage in WRC 2 this weekend, but many congratulations to those two youngsters. They battled hard and gave us a wonderful fight through that final power stage. John, your first time here with Dirtfish. What are your thoughts at the end of Rally Portugal?
Well, I mean, it's been a baptism of fire for me, I think it's safe to say. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Obviously, being out on the stages has been great, but, I spent the last 2 days here in the service park, and even here, you still feel in amongst it with so much going on. Yesterday was absolute chaos at times. So, yeah, great. Really enjoyed it.
Well, it's been fabulous having you along, John. Well, we have had, once again, a wonderful week here in Portugal. It has been so much fun. Do you know what? I love the Algarve, but I do love it back here. This is the spiritual home of rallying in Portugal. The Faf jump, you saw that today. It looked great. The crowds looked incredible. We have made a nice little video giving you the history of the Faf jump. If you want to see that video, press that button. John, where is it?
It's right there.
It is up there. It's right up there. Give that button a press and enjoy a little walk through the history of the Faf jump. Folks, we are heading back we're heading back home in all directions this evening to reconvene in 2.5 weeks in Sardinia. We'll see you all there.